Sure, send it to me.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, this is Sonic Szilvi. Welcome to the episode. And today we're just going to continue last week's discussion, which was about cancel culture. And Sky is with me again. So we're just going to continue where we stopped last week because it's so much to talk about. So that's what's coming up. So Sky is my guest, and I believe we're gonna have a little commercial intro. I'm not sure, but hang in there. And cancel culture part two is about to come. I don't know. It's
Do I
I don't know. Sky's not on the screen yet, so
I'm
I'm just
not?
waiting here.
How do I get on the screen?
I don't
Honey,
know. I can hear
honey,
you.
help.
So Sky is here. Her voice is already here. We're waiting on the screen.
They can't see me.
So if you haven't tuned in last week, so we were talking about cancel culture, how everybody is seems like wanting to cancel stuff from the past, like um, anything really, anything that has been around for a long time, and now as sensitivities kind of seem to be kicking really high, we're losing a lot of dishes. Hi, there you are. I was waiting for you. So everything seems to be canceled that has been around, that is has cultural value, and like like a historical monument, so to say. These things, and so we're gonna talk about that again. So where should we start?
I don't I don't know. You're the boss.
I'm the boss. Well, let's start about that. Okay, like we already started talking here before we started the show, and so the big issue that me and Sky are having with this is that as soon as we open our mouths and talk about it, that we like to see diversity and like to see those those achievements from history, for example, or language or whatever it is. We like to keep that because we think it's part of our history, it's part of people's culture, and it keeps diversity alive. But as soon as we open our mouths, right, Sky,
Hmm.
people instantly turn it around into politics.
Hmm.
I mean like that. And I am not politically involved at all. I really am not left. I'm not right. I'm nowhere really. I'm just
Hmm.
soul living here on this plane, trying to enjoy my life. That's all it is for me. And it's kind of annoying to me that this whole issue is going towards everybody is just like throwing politics at it,
Hmm.
or defines it as politics. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Like I was telling you, I think you and I we share that in common. We don't think with a Democrat versus Republican brain like the majority of people do. So
Right.
I feel like when we express our views, we get misunderstood a lot because the majority of people can't escape out of that way of thinking. Conservative liberal, and I spent all my life staying out of politics as well as not paying attention to mainstream media because I was raised to know that it's not good for us. That the
Right.
mainstream media is uh, it brainwashes us and keeps us in a negative state. Um, so I don't think like that. So I totally hear what you're saying because it is frustrating. I just want to have a heart to heart conversation without having to label everything in a box. Oh, you're a right winger because you think that, and it's like, no,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I don't like that.
And I'm sure many of us. aren't into politics. I mean, there's many people who don't like to talk about politics, who don't understand politics, who don't want to understand politics, and and it's just in the end, it's not about that. It's really about like keeping us as individuals,
Hmm.
keeping our creativity alive, our um,
Originality,
originality, exactly, our
uniqueness.
um, ethnicity,
Hmm.
our backgrounds. We should be proud of that, where we came from. I mean, and the thing is, every country, every culture has some bad history. I mean, if how far can you go back in history? Forever. And there's always, no matter what history you're interested in, if it's like ancient civilizations or the dark ages or just current stuff, whatever, it's there's always some negative. There's always, it comes with human nature, I guess, that we fight wars, we don't get along, and this and that and whatever, and we did have been doing bad things, and none of
Hmm.
us uh argues that, right? But I think in this time nowadays, we should be at the point that we should allow opinions and not take opinions personally. I mean, it's like, unless it's, and I have mentioned that last week, unless it's a crime committed,
Hmm.
crime, I'm not for that. I'm not for violence. I'm not for crime, obviously. But that's a different issue. But this whole cancel culture is like, it's not about crime. It's about
No.
words. Like, you posted something on Facebook the other day, which was really like, and I'm hoping this is just, was that a screenshot of a newscast, with the mom and dad?
um,
Where was that from? I don't remember.
Newscast of mom and dad. I don't know what.
Where it said,
I post a
like,
lot of things.
instead of mom and dad, you should be
Oh,
saying
yeah, yeah,
this.
yeah. It was a screenshot of them trying to change pronouns at a school in New York. Like, you're not
Okay.
allowed to say mom and dad. You have to say parent or persons, or you can't say Merry Christmas anymore. You have to say
It,
Happy Holidays.
is it just a suggested thing, or did that actually go through?
Um, it is something that the New York, it was definitely something that a school in New York was trying to impose.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we don't know if that's, so they just trying to do that, right?
Yeah, and I posted it just as an example of what we're seeing.
Yeah, that's just like, I mean, that's just shocking. I mean, even if you guys think now, yeah, okay, this is just they trying, it's just a suggestion. It's still
Mhm.
a suggestion. It's still on their minds, and that is kind of scary that they think that way. Because honestly, guys, whoever listens to this show or watches this show, seriously, I mean, do you agree with that? Do you agree with that? That mom and dad, those words should be canceled just because it's a gender? And okay, I'm gonna say here something about gender. Okay, I have transgender friends, and I love them, and they're great, and they're awesome. And I have absolutely no problem. I have no problem with any of that, because I think we can do whatever we want with our bodies. It's our
Mhm.
bodies. And I think we should be able to do anything we want with our bodies. It's our bodies,
And our
okay?
choices.
And our choices,
Mhm.
exactly. Um, but but that doesn't mean we have to erase words that suggest gender, because in the end, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna get hatred for this or not. In the end, there's male and female gender. That's how people were born to. If they're not happy with that, I understand and I get it. Okay, I get it that and I have a lot of curious questions, and I ask my friends always, and they really awesome because they answer me totally honestly, because I'm like, hey, look, I'm dumb about this. How does this work and that work, right? And they explain it to me. And so it's totally okay if somebody's born um into, let's say, female, but they don't feel like they females all their lives, and they're struggling with that. And then when they're old enough, adults, and I underline adults here because that's when you know actually what you really want long term. Yeah, do it, go for it. It's your right, I think, and you should be able to do whatever. But does that but in the end, the origins are still male and female. That's what I'm saying. And I don't mean to be like totally, I don't know, mean or stupid or whatever about it, because I'm not, but that's true. And in rare occasion, there's like, where somebody's born with both genders, that happens too. But in the end, that's what it is. And so why should we cancel and change language now? Just because people have the freedom to do whatever they want with their bodies, tattoos, piercings, gender change, I don't know, whatever, that's cool, but that doesn't call for changing everything, including like where these origins come from, she and he. Now, before I let you talk, I'm sorry, I'm just talking
It's
here.
okay.
um there's an interesting fact though about the Hungarian language, which I posted on your
Yeah, yeah,
link,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
remember? So I just want to share that with everybody because it's kind of cool. And I don't know why the Hungarian language did this, and I don't know if there are any other languages which do that too. So if you know a language that does it the same way, let me know because I'm interested to know that. So in the Hungarian language, there's no he or she. We don't have that.
Really?
Yeah, we have only one word, which is ö, and that means he or she, and you find it out through the context if it's talked about a female or a male person. But, and I know many languages do this, they, however, differentiate the gender, like when you say, for example, teacher or driver or whatever, then there is an ending which suggests it's a female, and no ending which suggests it's a male. And I think you speak Spanish, right?
A little.
I think in Spanish it's the same, right? I think in Spanish they do that too. If it's a male teacher or a female teacher, is they say
Yes.
different things. And I know in German too. So they have that, but it's kind of interesting that as a pronoun in Hungarian we don't have that. It's just one word. So
My problem about this whole thing, well, my main problem is, okay, so they're telling us because of of our transgender friends and people coming out as transgender, non-binary. They say, I don't want to be called he or she. I want to be called they, or call me she. Um, and that's cool.
yeah,
I totally respect that. I want to call people by the pronouns that they prefer.
of course.
However, I have a huge problem with the double standard. I have a huge problem with with the establishment, quote unquote, telling me that I have to call certain people by the pronouns they prefer, but I'm not allowed to use the pronouns that I prefer. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the direction I feel like this is going. I want to be called a woman. I want to be called a she, but I feel like they're telling me I can't even use those pronouns anymore for myself. And that's where I find it, that's where I see that it's going in a direction that's not equality or diversity. It's pretty much, I mean, I see this whole thing being just controlling. and
Control.
and
That's the
it's
word just popped in my head.
and
Stop reading their mind.
it's almost like it's not okay for me to be just a regular, to identify as a woman anymore. I have to. I, I don't know if I'm making sense, but
No, that makes total sense.
I
Makes
feel
total
like
sense.
it's double standards, and that's not okay. Double standards is not equality.
Exactly. Yeah, it makes total sense because yeah, we all should choose, but if those words are canceled from the dictionary, let's say they really go that far that it's like it doesn't exist. Um, then we, if we want to be called aunt or mother or sister or whatever, it's just not there anymore. We have to go on a break real quick, and we'll be back and talk more about this right now, right now, right now, right now.
Hello.
Break time? Hey, we're back. We are talking about cancel culture, part two. We basically continue our discussion from last week, and Sky just talked about double standards. And I totally agree with that because the thing is, if let's assume that this really goes through, which I hope it won't. Like, let's say they cancel words, they change words, like anything that is gender related, for example. It is, I understand the thought kind of behind it, but at the same time, those people who want to keep those words, who want to use those words, then they're not able to do that. And as you said, yes, that's not equality. That's absolutely, like, we all should have a choice. And it the language has enough words for everybody. Use the words you want. And as you said, if somebody wants to be called they or it or whatever, it's your choice. And there's enough words in the English language that you can choose what you want. And the people who are comfortable with being called she or he or whatever, or mom or dad or sister and what brother, anything, father, they should be able to use that because and that's the language. It's, I mean, are we going to the direction where this language eventually will completely change or even die out, like happened in the past? If you start doing that, and here's the thing, where is the line? Where do we draw the line? Because everybody might be offended by something,
That's what's
it's,
scary.
it's like, and I don't know which episodes, but are you familiar with dinosaurs, with the show?
No.
No? Okay. Yeah. I don't know which episode it is. Okay, dinosaurs, even though it seems like a children's show, it's not a children's show. It's all the episodes are about some really important everyday like problems that appear in society. It's really interesting. And there was a show about that like um this dinosaur family watches TV and then they say a word which was a cuss word, and they're like, oh my goodness, and then they complain to the TV station and they're like, we cannot have our kids hear those words, right? And then more and more parents went to the TV station because then everybody, yeah, okay, that word is not bad, but I don't like that word either. And I don't like that word either. And then they like, well, but I like that word. And the other, well, but I don't like that word. And they just kept canceling all other words and canceled from TV, from broadcast. And that's what's happening. So where do we draw the line? Because everybody can be offended by something. Maybe I say, I don't know, something stupid like lamp. It's about, don't say lamp to me, my uncle was electrocuted by a lamp, okay, or something.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so don't say that because that's like post-traumatic stress disorder for me. I mean,
And
where do we draw the line?
and
Okay,
see
because
the thing is, the person that gets offended by you saying lamp, them getting offended is really their own shit. That there's something inside them that they haven't dealt with, like a, an unhealed wound. So you saying that lamp triggers something inside them that has nothing to do with you. But of course, they don't want to look at what's inside them, so they're going to make you the villain. You know,
Exactly. That's a
um,
very, very good point. I totally agree. It's a super good point because in the end, when you get offended, you have an issue. And yes, that
mhm.
triggers you. So
And that's something you need to look at for you, not
you need to look at why am I triggered by this?
why is
Because
this
you know
bothering
what?
me. Mhm.
If you
It
if
doesn't have
you
to be
know
triggered
who
by a
you are,
stranger saying something. It's yeah, if you
yeah,
know who you are, go ahead.
if you know who you are, then you should be able to laugh it off or be okay with it,
Exactly.
you know. And also here we talking about like something big. It's like global. It's a
It is.
country.
It's
It's
universal.
global.
Mhm.
Nobody's attacking you personally.
Mhm.
Nobody's attacking you personally. Yet these people are like, oh, I'm being attacked. But no, you are not. Nobody is being attacked here. And yeah, definitely. And being offended is a reaction, and I do believe, and I'm not saying I don't have reactions. We all get triggered by
Yes.
certain things.
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
this is not like I'm not blaming here somebody and say, hey, you have a problem.
Mhm.
Okay, no, because we all have a problem in a way. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? We
Yes.
all have baggages and past and painful and
Unresolved
happy and
issues.
everything. All of us. I mean, show me 100% happy person or just a person who had never had a bad experience. Show me that person because
I
I don't
think
believe they exist.
I think that we are all crazy and messed up. So when someone tells me, "Oh, you're mentally ill because you think that," I'm like, "Look, we all got a little crazy in us, you know."
Yeah, but mentally ill, it's a real harsh because
Yeah,
mental
well,
illness is a whole different thing.
an ex-friend did say that about me because of my views.
Yeah, that is offensive. That is uncalled for
And
uh
I just had to
thing to
put that
say.
out there. To me.
Um, but here's the thing, you got called and you probably didn't go, ape about it, right? You're
Oh,
like,
oh
okay,
no, no, I did because I'm human and I got my feelings hurt. And it is a friend that I cared about who I trusted, um, you know, publicly calling me out as mentally ill just because of my opinions and views. So
yeah,
I just try to deal with it um, in my own way. But no, I lose my temper. I react because I'm a human being. I get my feelings hurt. You know.
right, yeah. Yeah, that's but yeah, and that's the thing though, we are human, but we have to also realize that okay, we get triggered,
Yes. Yes.
uh but that doesn't mean that we have to change and erase our history, erase our language, erase our products, erase, like we were talking about. And Jemima, I think I said it wrong the last time, the maple syrup and
Yeah.
Uncle Ben, the rice, we're talking about that. These are, in my opinion, accomplishments of people who worked really hard and accomplished something. And so why erase that? And then I don't know, like they destroying like statues nowadays.
Yeah.
Statues are being
Mhm.
destroyed. Landmarks are being destroyed. Um,
And that's why we keep repeating history because we keep erasing it so we're not reminded of what happened.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like if I get a tattoo that I regret getting because, I was in a bad place when I got it. I'm just using it as an example because I thought of removing a tattoo that no longer serves me, but it's also part of my history and it reminds me of where I was when I got it. So I kind of look
mhm.
at a statue like that, even if it is a statue of a horrible person, it's there to remind us that we don't want to make the same mistake again. But that's my own opinion about removing statues. I feel like removing statues is a waste of energy. We could be feeding the homeless instead of removing statues, you know?
Right. And that's when, and then also it depends, like, what was really the reason about removing, because I mean, some people really shouldn't be idolized or shouldn't have a monument, and that in history, some people really don't deserve that.
Right.
So that's true, but this is like all this whole cancel culture thing that's happening nowadays, because it's also not a new thing per se, uh, but what's happening right now, it's about not even about anything serious, anything horrible. It's
Mhm.
about just like, oh, I don't like this,
Oh, this is
I
getting really out
can't
of
I
hand.
can't deal with it. I don't want to see it because this is not my opinion, this is not my view, so therefore it should be erased and not there,
Yeah.
because I personally or my group or whatever is not okay with that.
Yeah.
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 So and they like, and then we go back to the same thing we talked about, and this is not equality then, because what if some other people like that statue, or don't think that whatever that person did was serious enough for this monument to be destroyed, or buildings, or whatever. It can go, it seems like it's everything, and
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just waiting when they change the names of the colors. Okay, is that gonna be a thing that
Well,
black and white
they're already
and
saying
yellow?
they're already saying that math is that white supremacy is found in math.
Yeah, yeah, I think you posted something. It's just, I mean, how my worry is like literally where does this end?
That
Because
yeah,
it,
because
it
I see that there's people like-minded people like you and I that compare to what we're seeing to the witch trials and what happened in Nazi Germany. And I see people making these statements and getting a lot of heat for making these statements because people are like, how can you compare this to to the witch trials or to what happened at the Holocaust? But my take on that is we are just seeing the early warning signs. Rome was not built overnight.
exactly.
So when you say when will the line be drawn, that's what I'm concerned about too, because it feels like this could keep going further and further. As long as we don't say anything, it could lead to something really awful. These are
Right.
just warning signs, and my friends from other countries, third world countries, who have seen and lived oppression, because Americans have, like I've said before, a lot of Americans don't realize, a lot of people from the West don't realize how good we have it. But if you
Hmm.
talk to people that born and raised in Iran and China and Venezuela, they got some serious horror stories and they can tell you what the warning signs look like.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, we should know. I mean, we all hopefully had some history lessons in school, hopefully, right?
Well, but what they're teaching in the schools is, I don't know if it's even the truth.
Yeah, it's
Because it
yeah, it's
feels
I
like
mean, the school system, that's a whole other show. The school system. It's we should not repeat history, and that's a really I'm having a problem with that. Okay, but before we start on that, so history repeating, remind me that that's where we were, because I'm gonna forget it after the commercial. But we're gonna be going to commercial very, very soon, so I don't want to start it up. But let's talk about that. Let's just go to commercial actually right now.
okay, and there's something I want to bring up later, but
Yeah, make a note though, because I always keep forgetting,
okay,
I always
I
keep
got it.
forgetting. I want to say something, and then by the time, 2 minutes later, I'm like, boom, it's gone. But
Because
yeah,
what I
let's talk about history repeating. And thank you everybody who tuned in, and we'll be right back after the commercial. That is.
We're back.
Hey, welcome
We
back.
did it.
Welcome back, Relax Radio viewers and listeners. I'm here with Sky, and we just stopped at history repeating. I remembered. It's awesome. Yes. So yeah, a big problem is I'm having a big problem with that. That I believe, and that actually that goes for everything, really, everything, not just cancel culture. People should learn of mistakes. People should learn even in their private lives, in their family lives, in their relationship life, everywhere. They
Yeah.
should learn of history and they should learn a lesson and not repeat it, you know. But that's a big problem because people do, even on the, like I say, in the smallest groups like relationships or family, people do repeat mistakes and people don't seem to learn from history, and they look back on history and they say, oh, that was awful. How could have that happened? Why did the people let that allow that to happen? Why didn't they do anything about it? You know?
And it's
But
because I is it okay if I
yeah,
it's because things don't happen overnight. And I feel like I don't know why that's a hard concept for people to grasp, but just like frogs sitting in hot water, you know, they don't just boil to death overnight. It's a process. And I think it's important to pay attention to the early warning signs, the red flags. And I think that's what gets us in trouble is we ignore those signs. And um, for me, I'm being intuitive. I can't help but to notice the early signs of seeing where it could lead.
instantly, yeah, like it's kind of like playing chess in a way. You know, you cannot play chess by just making a move, okay? You have to, when you play chess, and I'm not a good chess player, just so you know. I cannot play chess because of that, actually. But I know the people who win chess all the time, they win chess because they already think 5 moves ahead.
Exactly.
And they see what's gonna happen and how it's gonna. They already see in their mind. This is okay. I'm gonna do this, and he's gonna do that, and then he's gonna do this and that, and what blah blah blah, right? So and that's how it is, people should already see, okay, this is happening now, and if we don't do anything about it right now, then this is going to follow, and then that's going to follow that. You need to look into the future where it goes. You should be able to, yeah, see those warning signs and and stop, and when and I just don't even know.
I know.
It's just so frustrating to
It
me.
is. And I think you and I we care very much about the world. And that's something I came to terms with the other night. Because, ever since I was a little girl, I've always cared about the world. And, uh, right now it's heavy for me because
It is very hard.
because
It
I
is. I mean,
I think it's really hard for people that are just naturally sensitive to things. Being like a real empath.
yeah.
This whole year has been a big weight on my shoulders, and I'm pretty sure it's been a big weight on yours too. It's just knowing deep down the truth that the world is in big trouble and not everyone can see it.
And it's on so many levels. I mean, we're talking
So
about
many
right now.
levels. Yes, it's
We,
it's like a big puzzle of all these pieces.
yeah,
It's
like
it's a big
economy, like
yeah, the pandemic,
ecology and
cancel
everything, nature,
culture.
and I mean,
Yeah,
everything. It's like, yeah, and maybe that's the thing that many people like just. But first of all, it's the media, which we talked about it.
it's the yeah,
People need to go out. People need to explore
in
beyond the
real life,
TV.
in real life.
Exactly.
Yeah,
See the real life, explore the real life, and not just, soak everything in the TV tells you, like
or
go do your research, go look around, go read,
or talk
you
to
know.
other people outside of your social circles. That's
Yeah.
how you learn. You learn by talking to people that you normally don't associate with. That's how get to hear different perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And
Exactly.
I've been part of the goth scene. Um, I mean, we've been heavily involved in it with our band, but I've had friends outside of the scene, so I hear all kinds of I get to hear all kinds of different perspectives from so many different cultures. And
Of
um,
course.
in real life, I don't get this information by hearing what I hear about people on mainstream news or from what the collective that I'm involved with says. I get to hear stories by um, sitting down and talking to people. So I feel like that's what I would like to see more people do, is to step outside of their culture, outside of their comfort zone, and learn something from other people. I feel like
Exactly.
people aren't a majority of people aren't as open minded as I remember them being, or maybe they are always this way. I don't know. I've always been
Mm-hmm.
so open minded, so it's really hard for me to understand the way of thinking where it's just narrow minded and tunnel vision.
Yeah, it's like put on other people's shoes, so to say. Walk
Exactly.
in their shoes, and
Walk
that's
in their
that's
shoes.
that's how you. I never had a problem with it, but I know some people really have a problem with it to not see from other people's viewpoint. I can totally do that. I can literally like put myself in them and look through their eyes. That's what you
Exactly.
need to see, and then you will realize once you do that, you will realize that we are the same. We are all the same. And you will realize, when you, as you said, when you talk to other people from other countries, other cultures, any age, like young people, old people, whatever, you will realize that we have pretty much everything in common. We have discrimination probably in common about whatever, about your weight, about your height, about your age, about your color, about your gender, about whatever. You can be discriminated about everything, literally.
Yeah.
Hair color, clothing, um, whatever. Okay, so we have that in common. We have struggles in common as for income, financial struggles. We have love in our lives, or we have lack of love in our lives, or we
Mhm.
experience both. And I think when people actually see that we are so the same, all of us, and having the same exact issues, then it could bring us together. And that kind of brings me back to our point where we started. This should not be a political division. This whole issue should be about being a human,
Yeah.
and realizing that we are humans with the same issues, same problems, same happiness, same experiences in a way,
Same
I mean,
insecurities. We
insecurities,
all have that need to
exactly.
be loved and accepted. We all have that
Right.
hole in our heart that we're trying to fill with whatever we can. That's
Exactly. And I think that is the key. And then just to realize that just because something happened in the past and it was horrible in the past, maybe we are in a different time right now where we can actually just look back and, as you said, learn from it, being reminded on it
right.
that this is what happened in history and we don't want to repeat that anymore. So let's not repeat that. And instead of just destroying everything, you just have it as, like I said, some people should not be idolized, period. I agree with that. But also seeing it like what we talked about last time about the Lovecraft and so on. What was this person, for example, a statue? Why was the statue made? Was it because of this person, what he did personally, or his personal opinions, or was it because of some work that he completed? Was that person maybe an architect? Was that person maybe a poet or a singer or whatever? So if it was for something, you know uh, some creative art, or something for, I don't know, like, okay, I could say something horrible bad right now, and I guess I'm gonna say it. Autobahn. Should we rip off all the autobahns now, the highways? should we do that? Should we destroy them all? Because you know who created them, right?
Mm.
You know, are we going to do that? We shouldn't do that. No, because it was, even though the autobahn was built for an agenda, and told the people, well, it's for commuting and whatever. Um, that wasn't the main reason. But should we destroy now all the autobahns in Germany, all the highways in general? Because we're not gonna destroy them, right?
Yeah.
God, I hope I'm not saying something now, and then in the news I'm gonna be like, oh well, we're gonna destroy the autobahn. It's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, be, because I mean it is part of history, and even though when something was done with an agenda, maybe there was other things that was beneficial for humanity, right? The autobahn was beneficial for people actually to go from point A to point B really fast. It was really good, or like maybe a building that was built maybe for different reasons, or like castles. Okay, let's do castles. I mean, should we destroy castles? I mean, that was just all related to war. I mean,
Yeah.
most wars were like around castles. Destruction, mega masses of people died. Around castles.
You
In
just
war situation.
you reminded me of Dracula. Because that's another interesting debate. Was Dracula a hero or a villain? To some people he was a hero. To some people he was a psychopath. So the real Dracula.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, and going back to the Lovecraft bar, like, that club was because of an accomplishment of an author, and it was totally just about a story. So I think people should look into that first. What is that really we're trying to destroy, and why?
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
I it's so frustrating for
It
me.
is
It's really
frustrating.
frustrating because, again, like I said, if we really deeply want to find a skeleton in the closet of anybody, okay, like artists, um, architects, city planners, whatever, I don't know, okay, fashion industry, I don't know, anything. There is gonna be skeletons in the closet, a lot,
Yeah.
So what
Nobody's
are we gonna do?
perfect.
Burn everything down?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So that's really
I
really
just I don't
yeah,
see it being a solution. It's a waste of energy, waste of time when that energy could be used for really positive things, you know.
absolutely. Yeah.
Um, what I wanted to bring up was how this is what I don't like when it comes to politics is how people are so invested in identity politics. Um, they talk about diversity and equality, but they still will pick someone because of the color of their skin or because they're on the right side of politics, not about moral character. And that's what I'm seeing. I have a problem with good people being canceled. They're being canceled for their opinions, but not
Hmm.
for their actions against human beings.
Right.
Like, I judge someone by their moral character. I don't judge them by the color of their skin or by what politics they believe in or what their beliefs. I judge them by how they treat people.
Right. Let's go back to that after the commercial.
Okay.
Hey, welcome back. So Sky and I were talking about some deep stuff.
So my thing is you're either can I cuss? Am I allowed to cuss?
I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe
I won't.
not.
Okay, I won't. I won't.
Yeah.
My take is um you're basically a very good person or you're a piece of crap.
Hmm.
I don't believe I you know what? I don't want to say that, but I just mean you're either a good person or you're not a good person. And it
Right.
doesn't matter what color your skin is or or what class you're in or anything. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people being judged by identity politics, and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
equality.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It's
race shouldn't matter. You're either a good person or you're a bad person. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. So my point is, I don't like it when I see someone who's who is doing bad things and treating people awful, but they might just happen to be black. But if I say I don't like that person because of how they're treating women or how they treat their
hmm
children, oh, well, you're racist. I'm like, no, 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 no.
hmm
It has nothing to do with the color of their skin.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I totally agree. And yeah, it's
and
just like
then
I said, you can be discriminated against everything, but you know what action a person does, regardless what class they belong to, what race they belong to,
yeah,
what background
yes,
they have, what language they speak, or whatever. It doesn't
hmm
matter. You do something bad, you do something bad.
right,
Period.
and that's
And
yeah,
and yeah, and it should not be that then people are like, oh, like, oh my God, that person is, I don't know, I don't know, like let's say a homeless person or whatever, and then they're gonna be like, oh my God, but this is a homeless person. You can't say that or whatever. Um, yeah, it's absolutely, that's not right. That's not
yeah,
right. People should realize that actions do speak, and it's really, and when somebody is complaining about something, it's an action of that person and
right,
not in nothing else. And it shouldn't, this is just a vehicle we're in.
yeah,
You and I, we're both spiritualists, so the body is just a vehicle that we can be on this plane. That's just simply it. What matters is our soul, and what we do with that, with how
right,
um
and how we treat people.
yeah. And it's like, and I think as uh, talking about the soul, I think some people just don't feel their soul as much as they should, because i i,
Yes,
I think the soul is not able to actually be bad. I don't think that is possible for the soul. I think the soul is always good. And I think when people do bad things, I'm totally going off topic here, don't I?
it's
Um,
okay.
then it is because these people are not connected to their soul as they should be, and they cannot really hear or
Right,
feel their souls.
I agree.
And they're just too much into
Their
um,
their
this
flesh,
plane, this earth plane, where they
true.
kind of like disconnecting a little bit from the
They're
spiritual stuff.
they're in the
you know
ego.
oh my
What is
God,
it?
I have
Yeah.
another show right there.
What?
But yeah, but in the end, but that's what it means. This is just a vehicle, and it doesn't matter. It's just like your car. Do we all drive the same cars? No, we don't.
Mhm.
Do we discriminate against cars? Yeah, maybe sometimes. It's more like a status thing, like, oh, you're rich or poor.
Right.
But beyond that, I mean, we accept different cars. I can drive a red car, you can drive a black car, you can drive a white car, whatever, you know. So I'm driving a white car right now. So is that a bad thing? Oh my goodness, I mean, come on,
You're a
you know.
racist. No, I'm kidding.
I know, how dare I? But it's like, or like pets, okay, cats. You know what I'm saying? How many color cats are there? Okay, and people of any skin color, any background, any culture, whatever, they have all these different colored pets, and they all love them the same. Right? I
Mhm.
mean, are there any people who say, "Oh, I'm not gonna"? Well, maybe a few. I'm not gonna get a white cat or whatever cat, or a black cat because, oh, that's bad luck or whatever. Okay, there are some people like that, but in the end, people just love their pets, and it doesn't matter how many colors they have or what colors they have, and it's just the same thing. Or it's like I said, the car, it should be the exact same, because this is our vehicle we drive in on this earth plane. That's it. But in the end, inside, we all are the same. We are the same,
Yeah. We are
right?
one. We are one.
We are all, we need love, as you said. And I think in the end, think about these people, I think the ultimate goal is really to be loved and feel love and give love. I think it's all about love. And once people understand that, I think maybe it clicks, maybe it'll click. I hope
Well,
it'll click.
it's really amazing to watch what I'm witnessing because like I said in the last episode, it almost feels like I'm a criminal for preaching about love because love is no longer in the mainstream. I think it's become popular to be hateful and to be a bully. It's socially
Hmm.
acceptable, and that's what makes me very upset and scared
Yeah.
of the future and that kind of stuff. So, because the people that I see that stand for peace and love are being persecuted.
Yeah. But and you know what? That's not a new thing. That has been around in history. And there we go again back. We should learn from history, because, um, and that goes back way far in history, if everybody can remember that. Um, it's I never understood that. I never understood that. Like, for example, there was like a couple, and this is a little off-topic story again, but in the end, it all goes into each other,
Yeah.
because like I said, when people understand it's all about love, maybe it clicks, and maybe they realize this is not a competition, and this is not, who is better and who is different or anything like that. But there was like this couple who cooked meals in the park for the homeless, home cooked meals, and they got arrested. I have a
Yes.
problem with that. I
Yeah.
had, okay, maybe they didn't have a permit or
Did this happen
whatever.
recently?
No, that was like 5, 6 years,
Oh,
maybe, I don't
okay.
know, something
Yeah.
like that. But things like that, you hear things like that all the time.
And we're hearing
Like,
about it more and more this past year.
yeah, or
Yeah.
like you want to save a person, save an animal, save whatever, save the environment. It's like you being arrested and you're the bad guy because you're trying to do something good for your people, for your planet, for the animals. But I mean, come on, home cooked meals for homeless. I mean, they should be saints. They should
Be
get an
celebrated.
award or
Yeah.
something, because they're just so awesome. And they didn't just go and buy some packaged food. They actually home cooked, for the people. And I don't understand, and I totally agree with that. That you're trying to be good, and then this whole mainstream is attacking you for it. Um, well, I don't even know, because I don't
Well,
know. I think that story went into money. Well, permit. We need to make money. I think it was the whole story was about that. Well, you have to pay the money, and that's just like, that shouldn't be like that.
right.
Some things
It's
should be
really
just
dismissed.
accepted, and people should be happy. But then
Yeah.
there was another case too, which I bring up real quick, where mom, I'm still allowed to say that word, where a mom went into a grocery store and stole some bread and cheese or something little, like literally like few bucks, okay? And because she didn't have money to feed her kids, okay? So it was a sad situation. And then the store owner called the cops, and then the cop came and paid the stuff that she stole, and didn't arrest the person. So there's still good people out there, and there's still that, and that's how it should be. This person
But did
literally,
you know that all cops are bad? I'm kidding.
yeah, no, it's like, and that's the thing, and that's how it should be. And there was no arrest, no nothing, and mom could go home and feed the kids, because we should, like, yeah, just realize that we all been in bad situations, and we should not forget that. And instead of judging people and attacking people if they are in situations, we should actually just help them. Just help them and say, "Hey, I've been in that situation."
That's why it really broke my heart when a really good friend of mine who I looked at as a sister, she she just unfriended me and said I was mentally ill on another person who was counseling me on her post. And that really hurt me because if she really cared about me, cared about my mental health, why didn't she reach out to me and offer to help me if she really felt that way? So
But yeah, it was
I'm still getting over all this stuff that I've been through this past year, and it continues. People continue to attack me and spy on me and tag me in their posts to condemn me and ridicule me, and it's not going
yeah,
to stop me from posting what I post, though.
yeah. We have 2 more minutes,
I know.
so um,
Already, already.
yeah, it flies by fast.
Uh,
Yeah, the thing is, though, what I was gonna tell you, the problem is also often that things go the way they go because people wanna belong, and they are too afraid if they speak up
to
that
be an
they're not gonna
outcast.
be liked,
Yeah, they're
that
all
they're not
yeah,
gonna be in that group. And that goes for, like, I'm talking about any group, any organization, any friends or peers or whatever. It
yeah.
goes wherever you want to be, little or big. And I think people are really afraid. It's kind of like a peer pressure for adults.
It's like the just still being in high school mentality of wanting to be
It's
cool
peer
and fit
pressure.
in.
It's
Yeah,
it's
I
definitely
don't
peer pressure, and
I
that's
don't care
sad.
about any of that stuff. So
Me
it's all
neither. And nobody should.
yeah,
Uh, don't let yourself pressure into something that you don't believe in. Oh, and we were talking about 1 more minute. That's important. And you said that before we started the show. No, this is like the our message out there. No, if you really truly feel that way, or if somebody is pressuring you to
yeah,
feel that way.
influencing your way of thinking.
Exactly.
I
So I
think
think
people they don't know how to think for themselves.
exactly. So
Yeah,
think for yourself and make sure that what you agree with or disagree with, that it's truly your thoughts and
exactly.
truly your opinion. Because if it is, it's cool. You are
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
entitled to your opinion, but don't let somebody else dictate your thoughts.
Right, just so you can be cool, just so you can fit in. It's not worth it. It's
Not worth it at all.
I think it ends up hurting the soul eventually if it doesn't right away.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was a really good message to end the show. And this is it again.
That was
Flew by
fun
really
too.
fast. Yeah.
We got to do it again.
We're doing it again, but maybe we're going to another topic because
Yeah.
I sidetracked a lot. Yeah. So there's many topics we can talk about. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you all. Bye.
Ciao.